Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to the HO layout build in my training room here. And what you're looking at here is my first attempt at scratch building a background building for the layout. I used the BNSF 6951 Vinnie-built structure method of creating what looks like concrete piers. How I do that, and if you've seen any of Vinnie's videos, you'll know how it's done. This is a piece of 1/2 inch by 1/4 inch strip wood. I don't think it's balsa. It's a little bit stiffer than that. But it's painted with the Rust-Oleum paint. It's a textured finish. It looks like concrete. This comes in various shades, and I picked one that I thought closely resembled kind of old concrete. So I sprayed several of these. As you can see there, I've also got some that what I use for the top and the sides, which are 1 inch wide and 1/4 inch thick. So I use that size for the frame, and then inset the smaller pieces inside that outside frame. What I used for the back, what you see that's kind of got little windows in it, is a piece of black foam core, and I've got a little piece of it sitting over here that's left over. So it's completely black. I cut it out the same size as this plastic material here, which I found at Michael's. I think it was Michael's, and it's used by folks who do crocheting possibly, or rug hooking, or some kind of craft like that. The grids are probably 1/8 of an inch square, and so what I did is I cut out the foam core exactly the same size as this. I laid this grid piece down on top of the foam core, and I stood back probably, I don't know, maybe 1 foot or so from it with my gray primer and just sprayed a coat of primer over the top of the grid. And the effect I was trying to get was windows on the front of the building. So there are some areas that are a little bit heavier than others. There's a couple of areas where maybe the grid wasn't flat against the foam core, and I've got some wavy lines in it. But unless you get up real close and look, you can't really tell that that those issues are there. So my thought was to use this as an automobile assembly plant. I've got a little Chevrolet sign up there that I found at Hobby Lobby. It's one of those magnetic refrigerator signs. I was looking actually for a Ford one. My dad worked at a Ford plant in Cleveland, Ohio when I was younger, and so kind of as homage to him, I wanted to put a Ford plant on here. So maybe one day I'll find a Ford sign I can stick up there. Right now it's just leaning up against the backdrop that the Chevrolet sign is. I'll build a little a little billboard thing to kind of hold the sign up in the air. I'm not sure if this is the final position. I may move it further down the wall here along with some other background buildings. But my thought here, by putting it up in the corner, I've actually got room between it and the incline here to actually put a siding in. And I thought that might kind of look neat. It kind of infers that maybe autos are loaded somewhere off of the layout from the Chevrolet plant, and this might be a storage track, or once the auto carriers are loaded up, they're placed on this siding awaiting pickup and to travel on the main line. So I should have plenty of room down at that end of the layout to put a turnout somewhere under that pile of track. So that's my thought right now. There's probably, I don't know, 2 inches of room in here, and you might as well have something in there that looks interesting. At the bottom of the building, here what I've got are grids. Obviously it looks like it's got 3 floors. Well, 4 I guess in total, 3 with the dividers in it. And on the bottom, I don't have any of those vertical dividers anywhere along the bottom. I didn't know whether I should put those in, paint that black. this part of the building isn't meant to be rail served at all. It's just there, and the siding runs along it. So I'm not looking to put a loading dock or loading doors or anything in there, but just want to kind of get your thoughts on whether that building looks good enough to use, first of all, and second of all, is it good enough without having those dividers coming the whole way down. Let's see, some of the things I've purchased lately are under the layout. I've also brought all the train stuff up from the garage. It's now stored in a climate controlled area, so hopefully it'll be a little cleaner and a little safer up here. There's a bunch of intermodal trailers on top of that box right there. A couple of Illinois Centrals in the Athearn box. I've got a couple of Burlington Northerns, and then over there on the right side, which are a little bit hard to see, those are the 20-foot containers, the spherical containers, the tank containers that go on intermodal cars. So I've got two of those. I do also have, you can see in the front of that, the very top of the bottom container there, the Rio Grande trailer. I bought 3 of those off of eBay. So those are new. That Rio Grande GP40 sitting in there is new. And I think I've shown the Great Northern F45, that's the backup you see there. Next to that, and I think I've shown these as well, a couple of flat cars, 89-foot flat cars. So that's most of the new stuff is sitting out because I don't have enough spots in my drawer storage area to put them right now. Let's see, I bought this roll of cork down at Hobby Lobby. I think it's 3 feet by 4, maybe 3 by 5. It's under bricks right now, just trying to get the curl out of it. It came rolled up. So over here, underneath that pile of stuff, is where that cork is going to go eventually, as part of the intermodal yard. I do have one section of track, well actually 2 sections of track laid. This one that you see on the riser is down. I used full strength Elmer's glue, put a fairly heavy coating of that on top of the cork, laid the track in that coating of glue, and then weighted it down with those bricks that you see. The reason I did that is if I ever need to take the track up, you can just wet it with water and the glue releases and you can just pull the track out. So once you get the joints unsoldered, it comes out fairly quickly. Another thing that I did before I laid the track was on the cork road bed itself. This one you can see, the seam is kind of showing in the middle. I made sure on this one that I didn't have a seam showing. I also took a piece of sandpaper and a block of wood and I sanded the top of the cork so that the left and the right sides were level with one another. I didn't want the trains to be rocking, going down the track just because the cork was not level left to right. And that seemed to work out pretty well. You can see this cork on the right has kind of a white haze on it. That's the overspray from when I painted my clouds. And that sanding, which I did just under this piece, kind of took that haze off as well. So not that that would matter, it's going to be covered with ballast at some point, but at least it cleaned it off. The other piece of track that I have is actually on that bridge, the second bridge in there. The first one has a couple of plate girder bridges on the end, but the one in the middle's got a section of track laid on it, and I used the Elmer's glue method on there as well. Couldn't get the bricks in, obviously, because there wasn't enough room. What I did there is I just used some clamps to hold the track down to the bridge deck. I've got and I had that installed over here at the end of this short run of track. What I'm going to use instead of the little cast stone abutments that I had there to support my bridge, I had to take those out. Excuse me. They didn't really work well. I had no way to attach the bridge. So what I'm going to do, you can see here, is I'm going to put a 2x4 anchored to the benchwork here up and let it support the underside of that bridge. It's the 2x4 is just slightly wider. I think that bridge deck is 3 inches wide. The 2x4 is going to be 3.5, so I'll have a 1/4 inch on either side. And one day, you know, to start, I'll paint it gray, and I may at some point cover it with some adhesive cast stone material or something like that. So that piece is in, you know, first track. You know, the journey of 1,000,000 miles begins with the first piece of track. So there it is. On this side, this piece of track here is not glued yet. I just have it pinned down with some of those foam pins. You can get them for $100 from Woodland Scenics, or you can buy 100 of them for $2 from Walmart. So that's what I did. I bought mine from Walmart. They call them document pins. They're in the stationery section at Walmart, or probably any office supply store. For those of you who don't have a Walmart in your foreign country, folks across the pond and down under, any office supply stores that have those, they're called document pins. Back in the day, before staples were used much, you would pin 2 or 3 documents together with one of those until things were approved, and then take the pin out and reuse it. So, hence the name document pins. I'm sure all of you are happy that you now know that piece of information. So this piece of track is just in. My thought is to go ahead and lay the outside loop of track. I have a turnout that goes in up here to service the coal yard, the coal mine back here. I've laid some cork down as a bed for the track, so it's in. So the darker brown pieces are that one piece of cork that I had spray painted brown just as an experiment. But that is all the adhesive back stuff that I told you about. It came in, I think, two or three to a package that has an adhesive backing. It's 1x1 square, 1x1 foot square, and you just peel the protective backing off, and the cork sticks right down to the layout. So it's pretty quick and easy to install. On my roadway, up under the trestle, I've put one single yellow stripe on the road using the pinstriping that Vinny cued me in on. So that's down. Haven't done too much else scenery wise. Over there in the corner, I think I may have thrown a few more pieces on the church scene, but you know, not anything more extensive than that. So what else can I tell you? Oh, one other thing. I've got some drawer slides there. Those are the white things with the red packaging. And what I'm going to use those for is those 2 pieces of countertop that you see under the layout. They're about 3 feet long, 1 foot wide. Those are the leftover pieces from the countertop that's in the bonus room that I put on top of the storage cabinets. I'm going to put one on this side of the layout, one under this side of the layout on drawer slides. One will be kind of a workbench area that I can slide in and out of the way. The other one will hold the DCC equipment and any other electrical components that I might need to have at hand. So that's my plan there.